Welcome back. Today I want to talk about setting up Photoshop to handle color profiles. And if we are working on images for a web or to view on a monitor, we're going to keep that image in the RGB color space, color mode. If we are going to send this out to a printer, a commercial printer, then we will work in CMYK. And the first thing we need to do is we need to come up here and see how we have our color settings set up in Photoshop. So I'm going to choose Edit, and I'm going to come down here to Color Settings. And this dialog box is going to allow us to set up how Photoshop deals with different images. So here I have, whenever I open Adobe Photoshop, you'll see that my working space is set for RGB. It's set to Adobe RGB 1998. CMYK is set to US Sheet Fed Coded version 2. My grayscale is Gamma 2.2. Spot dot gain 20%. And I like to turn these color management policies off. So I usually RGB, CMYK, and gray. I'm going to turn those off. And I'm going to check this box right here that says Ask when opening. So profile mismatches. Whenever you bring in an sRGB file into Photoshop, or open one, and you have this color profile set up in Adobe Photoshop, it's going to ask you, what do you want to do with that image? Do you want to use the working space color profile and convert? Do you want to do nothing? Or do you want to open it as the color profile that you have, which is sRGB? So this is how you should have your computer set up if you're using Photoshop. And when we're using CMYK, it's always a good idea to call your printer or whoever's doing the final output and ask them what type of color mode do you want do they want you to use when you're working with CMYK. Different printing companies may have different profiles and different workflows for dealing with their images. So alright, so this is how you should have it set up for normal RGB and CMYK viewing. Now, and you can save these profiles or these color settings. I also have one for that I call web. Now for web, I like to work in the sRGB mode, and I hope that doesn't confuse you. Okay. So these are my color profiles so if I'm working on a website, I will switch these color settings so that when I open my images, it's going to make sure that everything is sRGB. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that main. So now everything's going to be Adobe RGB 1998. We'll say OK. Now you have Photoshop set up correctly. And every time you try to bring in those sRGB images, you're going to get some warnings pop up asking you what you want to do with those images. Do you want to leave them set as sRGB, or do you want to convert them over to that Adobe RGB color space? And I would suggest going ahead and converting them over. It's done, and your files will be set up for proper viewing and proper printing. So let's try this out. So I'm going to go over here to File, and I'll say Open, and I'm going to open this Apple Crisp JPEG, and I happen to know that it has a mismatched color profile because I want to make this illustration here. So here we are. We have just set up Adobe Photoshop to handle all RGB images in the Adobe RGB 1998. And what are we trying to do? We are trying to bring in this sRGB image, and Photoshop is saying, hey, you told me to handle it one way, how do you want me to handle it? Do you want me to discard the embedded profile? Do you want me to convert to the working color space, or do you want me to use the embedded profile? Well, that's why we turn these warnings, these mismatch warning dialog boxes on, because every time if someone sends you a file and it has the wrong color profile attached to it, you can automatically be warned of this. I'm going to click this button, say, yeah, I know I want to work with Adobe RGB 1998. We'll convert it now, then we don't have to worry about it. We'll say OK. And now everything's converted, and we look right down here. We have Adobe RGB 1998 as our color profile. So no more color profile mismatches, right? All right, I think that's it for today. I'll see you down the road in yet another video tutorial. Thanks for watching.